tell you about the house. Iron is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew what that was, but I can't remember. But that's a nitty naughty.
There is sugar. Oh, yeah.
We looked that one up yesterday. I just can't remember.
No.
Pump organ.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting because sometimes it's easier to take everybody at once.
Oh,
than
totally.
yeah.
Well, you have to say it like 800 times a day anyway, so.
Yes, totally. Come on in, guys. I'll show you around. So I'm going to start off with the photograph of the house here. So this is the photograph of the house before it was brought here 25 years ago. But it started off pretty meager. It was small. It started off as just a one-story right here. We're at this window right here. And it was 50 years later before the second level and even the kitchen was added. So in the early 1900s, which is what we are portraying in this village, is when the only grandchildren of those who built the house, whose names were also Charles and Margaret, inherit the house together. Now, unfortunately, their father had passed away. Their mother remarried, and she left the house to probably her eldest daughter, but the boys stayed. I don't know the situation, if his wife had passed away, if he had kids, if he didn't have kids, but I do know that the children stayed here, and the sister was old enough to run the house, and the brother stayed. So, having said that, the kitchen was added, the second level was added, and in the early 1900s, the kids inherit the house. And what happens, because the sister was about 10 years older than her brother, it made perfect sense that she got married first. So in that bedroom right there, she gave birth to 9 children.
What?
The children would go from the cradle to one of the 2 toddler rooms. Now, this room is set up as a sewing room because we don't have toddlers. But back in the day, the sewing machine would have been just pushed wherever it could go, and the kids took precedent for sure. And then eventually they'd go upstairs in what became a dormitory out of necessity. Mm-hmm. And so the brother, we can't forget the brother.
Oh, yeah.
He decided that he was going to get married 10 years later, and instead of building a new home, he decided to just simply add a little wonky piece of a kitchen and a parlor on the opposite end of the house, tiny compared to this side. And it was unfortunate because he had 3 more kids than his sister did on this side.
Oh,
they had 12 kids on that side.
What the?
There was 21 kids that were born and raised in this little tiny house.
Really?
And
So
that
did
is
you
the
say
story.
This house was moved?
This house was moved here 25 years ago. And the little piece that the brother, the wonky piece, I guess, is the part that did not make the move. My coworker actually rented this place with her husband years ago. And so she remembers that
the wonky end.
It was in terrible shape then, but you can see it has a flat roof too. So of course that didn't help at all. But she said he was great at making babies. He was terrible at building homes. So I'm stealing that from her. And so that's the story of the house that grew and the family that grew. Mm-hmm. Now, also, it's a little bit deceiving in this living room because something like a pump organ would not exist in this house. The house looks really, really nice now, but the exterior has been redone. We've painted the floors every so many years. You paint the walls every so many years because during the winter, there's no heat in these homes. They get a little damp and a little dingy, and so we keep it up. The entire exterior was redone approximately 4 or 5 years ago. So the house looks really, really nice, but it probably looked lived in back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So even the furniture is actually new to us. And we were really, really lucky to get it because it was a lady that had all this furniture and she wanted to give it to somebody. And she found out about this little museum and she said, wow, perfect. Mm-hmm. Now, the material that is on it is not necessarily of the era. So they're more of a prop, I guess, than they are original pieces. But underneath is the original
lining.
Yeah, exactly. So also, because the fireplace is in the center of the house, they added all the bedrooms lined up, door from door, and that way the heat could circulate in the wintertime. It was a much more natural
That's why it's a round sort of orientation. Yeah. That makes sense.
So we're going to go in here. I'll show you guys around. Oh, also we added candlesticks because we get kids that come here and they thought, oh, wow, it's a perfect place to put your coffee. Like, there's no lights. Like if you want to play the pump organ at night, you can't because you can't see. So it teaches them a few things about how simple it was back then. So come on in.
But with, what, 9 kids and 12 kids, we got 21 kids running around.
They weren't all here at once. There was a 10-year gap between
okay.
the marriages, but that doesn't mean that there still wasn't a
I was
lot.
going to say,
Because upstairs there was 17 at once.
Yeah.
So that doesn't tell us how many still down here. So it's kind of tricky to try and
A
guess
lot
what
of
it was.
babies.
So this, we have a deluxe model toilet. If you guys want to come through so everybody can see, just, I know it's a little tight quarters here. So have you guys seen the kids that are all dressed in the costumes yet?
No.
No, not
They're
yet.
down. They're down near the
Those
quilting
of you
area.
who haven't seen them, it's adorable, adorable, adorable. They come here and they have chores to do, and the chore here is to empty the water out of this pot. So we like teaching them while they're here that everybody had a job, and if you didn't do your job, mom couldn't do her job. I
Right.
mean, you can't make dinner if the stinky toilets are still full, and on and on and on. So my coworker put a chocolate in there last year,
Oh my gosh.
and we didn't get a reaction. I was
Are you
actually
kidding?
disappointed. I thought you went or something. We heard one girl say to the other girl, "Do you want to trade pots with me?" I thought, that's it. That's all she said. I can't believe it. But yeah, that's all. That's the only reaction we got. And over here, we do have a closet. Now, I mentioned that the second level was added some 50 years after the primary part had been added. Well, they took advantage of under the stairs, apparently. But it wasn't necessarily common because most of the time, this gentleman here is standing in front of the trunk. But it's okay. Stay right there. There's a trunk. That trunk is a little bit more hoity-toity as well because it is arched on the top. And trunks like that were a little bit more hoity-toity if you went on a ship.
Right, because you wouldn't
Yeah, it's
sit-
expensive.
Yours would
Not
be the first
stackable.
one to be
Yeah.
taken off. Yeah. So like, hello, I'm first in line.
Right.
That's the kind of.
That's so cool.
So this is the second toddler room. Now the sister who started her family, by the end of it, she had 9. I don't know the years. I don't know how quickly they came, whatever. But she probably had these 2 going for a while. And the brother was in the next room. So before he got married, he must have known what he was getting into because this is all you could hear.
Right.
I'm sure. So this one is set up as a single room, but the same thing as the sewing room. It would have had probably a few hay mattresses on the floor. But sometimes if you were lucky enough to have a bed, you might even put them sideways.
Yeah.
I've heard that if you had 2 kids in the bed or even 3 and they didn't get along, you'd put a head there and a head here and you had to deal with their feet.
Yeah.
Maybe it was less,
Less
going
shitty
on.
chatty, like
Yeah,
fighty.
Exactly. And this is another beautiful piece here. The commode
Stunning.
that we had, that is also brand new, and it came with the rest of the stuff.
Nice.
It's gorgeous.
Very lucky to have that. Now, this over here is the brother's master bedroom.
I want to
And,
make one.
I'll wait for everybody to come in.
Yay.
Oh no, I'm not even. I wasn't even.
It's your bed
I'm talking
exhibit.
to myself more than anybody else. So yeah, we'll wait for everybody to come in. So I didn't mention, but all the beds are hay mattresses, hay or straw or whatever they had. So this is, of course, also now the ropes here. So good night, sleep tight came from your rope.
Oh.
You had to keep your rope really, really tight, and you had a key, you had something that you would turn, and then you could tighten the knots, and that way you were better suspended, because this way it was more like a hammock. You know, you're stuck like this.